Welcome to SOFI Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about the daily chart and the weekly chart. For SOFI, we're going to look at the long dated and short dated options on this one. We'll talk a little bit about my price targets, my ads and trims, what I'm going to do long term with it. And also we'll touch on a little bit of SOFI news that's out recently and a quick look at the general market overview. So that'll be the economic data yesterday and what's coming out today. Okay, straight into the daily chart here. We've got my co-host for the day again. Having a good snooze, not paying attention. Shocking assistant. Other than that, though, we've had this wicked move. I nailed this price prediction. We've been talking about that action for a few weeks now. Gorgeous, gorgeous move. This gap up's been amazing. We've hit two measured moves here. I did trim on the approach here, thinking that's a hell of a big move for SOFI. I'm going to take some risk off the table. Then it continued to push up to the Fibonacci level above that, so I trimmed a bit more. I do expect hesitation there. And as you can see, yesterday we had this wick down, this big wick. Generally, that means there's going to be some kind of pullback. Now, I don't know if it's just going to chop around in range before earnings, but I'm all for having a pullback here ready for earnings. I expect that one to be a really good one. I think this was a gamma squeeze, a lot of hedges repositioning. I don't have the updated data for the short interest on this one, so it's possible we've still got enough gas in the tank for a regular old squeeze, which is just traders like me and you. But we'll have to wait and see. I can only see a week's worth of data at a time, so I need to wait for this week to end before I can get those numbers, which is annoying, but I don't want to pay extra for the access unless anyone's got any recommendations for somewhere I can find that for free. I pay for enough subscriptions already. But looking at the chart though, we've talked about having some resistance here. I would love it to come back down to the kind of 950 range, even to get a backfill on this one. I know a lot of people will find that frustrating, but for me, that would be a great opportunity to load back up on this one. We've had a wicked killer move here from the lows in this pattern to a high 75% in 48 trading days. So whatever way you cut it, you can't hate that. SoFi's done very well, and glad to see it pushing up. This kind of $10 level, though, is going to be a tough one, I expect. Obviously, we've got the psychological aspect of it. We've got the historical resistance there. We've got the measured moves. We've got the Fibonacci. There's a lot of price action to fight there. I expect when we look at the open options interest on this one, there will also be some, walls there, some strikes for the bulls. But to the downside, obviously we've got the kind of Fibonacci level here at 950, which would be, I would love to load back up there as well. We've got the gap fill at kind of 905. Would love to buy more there. I don't think we're going to get lower than that. I think that would be what I would think would be the max bottom, especially given the fundamentals just keep getting better and better. And now they're expanding. They've confirmed. I mean, they've been confirming they're going to expand their loan book and lending for a while, but suddenly one deal comes out and everyone's like shocked. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't think price is going to go below that. But if it does, we do have that really nice 830 range that's been respected for a long time. We also are looking a little bit spicy on the RSI. Typically, SoFi doesn't like being hot on that for too long, and that we're at quite a high on that one. So we probably will fade, to be honest, on this one. So might be a bit annoyed that I don't trim more, but I have a lot of dry powder now ready to deploy back into the market. MACDX Plus looks wicked, real aggressive on the whale side, pretty much at max dispersion there. And flow's been really good as well. Let's take a look at the weekly. So we always have these old patterns here, the purple, the orange, the purple again, and then the blue. And I say every time, SoFi loves doing its measured move, and guess what it's done? It's done its measured move. So super happy about that one. Didn't want to look like a fool. But RSI is looking a little bit hot on this one as well. So again, that's kind of indicating that some hesitation should be due. I think long-term price action, I still think it's cheap. I still think $14 is fair value, if not at least getting up into the 20s, given how well they're executing. But there is a big air gap here, and I think for price action to have enough energy to get through there, we need to kind of pause a little bit. We've had a really good solid move very aggressively. A little bit of a pause here, even if it's just until earnings, just to build up some momentum. I mean, maybe something terrible happens in earnings and we get a pullback there, but we don't know. But when price gets above this Fibonacci level here. There's very low volume resistance here, which means if we look back historically on the chart, there wasn't much accumulation or anything like that in this range. It was just a bit of a free fall. So that is a collapse. But on the bright side, it means price will move very quickly back through those areas. So actually getting up into the $14 area, which is what I really am looking at to take off quite a lot of my profit, that move should happen very fast when it does. If we just do a little measurement from here to there, that's about another 37% gain. So having a little rest there is excellent. We probably will have some chop that we do, but it's not going to go up in a straight line. But I don't think you're going to see this, really tedious range boundness that we've been dealing with. So hopefully we're out of the gulag on this one. Hopefully we can push higher on earnings and really put the nail in the coffin. MACDX Plus though, really good. Wells are accumulating there again. Golden Cross is dispersing on that one. I expect that to continue to do so. Flow has been epic on the weekly. It's probably going to kind of flatten off a little bit, but not to be alarmed. I think it's going to be bullish for a while. Open options interest on this one. We've got the confirmation from what we talked about with the $10 range here. That's the largest kind of resistance. But interestingly enough, we do have some strikes right up here at $13 now. That's probably not going to happen in a few days. That's quite ambitious, but they're probably legacy. Let me have a look when earnings are on this one, actually. Earnings. Let's go on the daily chart. Tuesday the 29th of October. So if we went to the 1st, that's probably going to be the earnings. So, I mean, we did have a lot of people put in bullish bets on here, but I think these strikes were probably put on when price was still in the range down here, judging from where the supports are. So I do actually think this will move more over the next week or so, but quite a decent expected move here. I would like to see it pull down and then push back up and maybe complete this kind of $12 area, but I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily, given that it's had such a move first, and this stock does have a very high short interest. I think last I saw it was about 18%. I don't know if that's changed since this gamma squeeze, but there could be more shorts coming to help push the price back down, trying to cover their own arse. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on here, but oh well, I'm not monetized anyway. Who gives a fig? So we'll certainly see, but keep an eye on the options market. I think it's going to start moving up over the next few days and early into next week, just because price is already here. That's unless we get a big pullback in the meantime. But I'm going to go back a week and check. Nothing interesting there, but the week after earnings, not much changing really either. 2025. And I expect this company to do very well in the coming years as well as they start mopping up. So the market's kind of in a position looking at kind of $15 early next year, which is kind of where I'm at with the price on this one as well. Just out of curiosity, let's do 26 like we normally do. And more bullishness, although a lot of people are going to be in the money now on this one, so I think the market's going to shift a bit on this one in the coming days and weeks, so it'll be interesting to catch up with that next week on the update. Okay, let's touch on the SOFI news. Obviously there's quite kind of a scattering of data bits here. There's probably loads more out there. I just haven't had time to filter through it all and digest it all properly. Let's just start off with the big news that kind of pushed price up, the expansion of the loan platform business. So that was a $2 billion personal loan funding agreement with Fortress. Amazing. I mean, we've been knowing for a while that these kind of moves were going to be coming, but for some reason no one believes it till they actually see a deal written down. But I mean, you're a little bit late to the party in that situation. But basically, the partnership allows SOFI to kind of refer pre-qualified borrowers and originate loans for third parties as part of a fee-based revenue, which is excellent. And that means more room to cater to borrowers, collect more data, and improve cross-selling, which personally I love, and it's one of the the highlights of investing in SOFI, that they're able to cross sell really well. It does mean that they're able to cast a wide net without balanced risk ratio, and it does avoid capital ratio pressure, which is super important. Remember, SoFi is a chartered bank, so they really have to adhere to these kind of things. They're a little bit different to a lot of other fintech banks out there. Other news that we've kind of got the institutional investors. We're still really high. Hasn't ticked up more again, but not too surprised. A little bit of a cool off. The short interest, that data is not current. I think it's from the 30th of the 9th, so we're a couple of weeks out of date. It should update soon, probably at the end of this week. We'll find out if some of those faded out on that pop. But that's exciting. I expect we should see that those guys start to fold soon. We're about to hit the fourth profitable quarter, I think, on this one. I don't know what they're expecting with pushing price lower. Other than that, we got the new credit cards. Now, I think these are going to be quite a slow rollout. There's no annual fee. It's invitation only currently. So I'm expecting a slow, controlled rollout into a lower risk environment. SoFi has been very cautious in their expansions and stuff. I don't expect that to change with the offer of credit cards. Now, I don't think they're going to be as popular as maybe the Robinhood ones, but part of the reasons why I've stopped investing in Hood is because there's too much risk around their credit cards. They're maybe too generous, and it's too early to know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'm wrong on that one, but a rising tide will lift all boats on that one, I think, and especially with crypto popping off, Hood's going to do very well on that one. But I've made a killer move on. I've caught the killer move on that one. I'm happy with my thought process on that one. It's just not worth the risk reward currently. If they have a good pullback, I'm going to be more interested in going back in. But anyway, I've gone off tangent. I'm talking about another stock. I think that's it for SoFi news. Yesterday's macroeconomic data, then that was Tuesday. Losing track of days. The manufacturing, we talked about that this on Monday, that we weren't expecting anything good because manufacturing's just turned to mush, and we didn't get a good read on that one. Red Book year over year, though, ticking up a little bit good. Consumer inflation expectations was, I think, the big one. And I was actually surprised to see people are expecting it to be slightly worse, but also the market really just shrugged it off. I guess we're getting a bit FOMO out there. But other than that, some speeches, I didn't listen to them. Today, upcoming there, we've got another speech, more Bostic, more mortgage data, which is actually out now. Just sorry, this is the first time I'm looking at this. Mortgage rates ticked up a little bit. Mortgage applications down, huge. So, I mean, I've been saying for a while that mortgage data is not going to improve for a while. It's people will wait for the rates to come down anyway, and do it that kind of way. So this was really obvious when all the housing stocks popped when we had that first rate cut. So Redfin, Zillow, all that kind of stuff had big moves up. But it was too early for them to make that move up because there's actually nothing fundamentally changed. Yes, the underlying rates changed, but it's not going to magically jumpstart, people moving, purchasing houses and whatnot. So there's going to be some lag there. So, but that did give us a great opportunity to pretty much sell all of our housing stocks and buy them back cheaper. So can't really hate that. Thank you. I do intend to increase my exposure to that kind of sector as we go through the end of this year. Probably early next year might be a better timing. Gives us another quarter maybe, but we'll see. We'll have to pay attention to the data, especially the housing companies. I want to see if they've seen any changes or think more changes are coming faster, because we'll get a better feel for what's happening if we listen to their earnings calls, which we always do. Other than that, later today, import export prices, so that one will be kind of interesting. I think the market might pay a little bit more attention to that one. We've got we don't want to see too much kind of inflation come in on these ones. So, I mean, the expectations are not too bad. I mean, we're quite low on that one anyway. I think monthly budget statement as well will be interesting to look at. If you've got any questions, feel free to pop them below. If you have any requests, that kind of thing, just fire them off to me as well. Other than that, though, if you like this content, share it with your buddies and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you tomorrow.